with Scott. We're going up to Reno, and I wasn't racing myself, but I mean, I was probably only 13, 14 years old, but I went up to mechanic for Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we're going up in his RV, probably pulling his trailer, I would assume, or maybe just his RV. I guess it doesn't matter. And we're going up through Tahoe and going up through the mountains, and like we started hearing this brr, 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 and I was like, Scott, what's that? You know, I don't know. It's kind of strange, and it just kind of went away. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then we were going up the hill. Brr, brr, brr. Scott, you hear that? Yeah, it's coming in worse too. Oh man, I don't know. And then, brr, brr, boom. I look back in the mirror and it's full on like one of those F1 style blow up smoke out the back. And, he's pulling over. I mean, this thing grenaded itself, right? Pull over and a smoke show, smoke cloud and everything. And what was really funny, Lauren opens the side door of the RV, and because the running lights, and the smoke, she opens it up and she thinks there's a fire, right? Because it looks like a fire with the light coming. Dad, it's on fire! Dad, it's on fire! Scott's running around because, and we get out, he's like, oh no, it's just the light. I remember sitting on the side of the road there on 80, out in the middle of Tahoe or something, probably near Donner Pass, and just waiting for the tow truck to come, thing completely grenaded itself, and I don't know how we got there, or after that, I don't know if they put it on a flatbed and we got in the truck. I mean, I don't remember. We got to Reno somehow, but I just remember that story now with Scott Jeffries.
Got there.
But yeah, I mean, that's when I think that was my first taste of mechanicking, for someone at the race with Lauren. Just a little junior superbox cart at that point, and yeah, like I said, Scott, the brothers, Jeffrey brothers, Kurt and Scott, they gave me a lot of opportunity. They gave me my introduction into the business of karting, and as a driver, as a mechanic, and someone working in the shop. I don't think I was getting paid anything as I should have been. It wasn't probably worth getting paid, but I owe a lot to those two guys, and Mike Gerogier and yourself and all the people that were a part of that program of giving me that start. And I mean, it was even a thing, when my dad was on his way out, and we had him here on hospice at the house, and Scott and Mike and everybody, Rainey, and that you guys made the trek up here to give your regards and everything, and that's something I'll never forget.
Yeah, that was tough. And actually, you were. What was the deal? You were over in Europe, and then you ended up staying home for a while, right?
Yeah, I was called. I mean, unfortunately, I was in the middle of the Rotax Grand Finals, not racing. I was just working for Prague at the time, and I'm sure we'll get into those stories later down the road. But yeah, it was. Yeah,
we're going to have a Euro episode.
Yeah, so I was working full time with IPK, and being that I spoke, really good English, and English was the international language at the Rotax Grand Finals. I mean, that was kind of an intricate part of and kind of the face of Praga at those events, going around helping people. Obviously, Praga had two categories and everything. Long story short, we showed up there with 140 go-karts, big operation, 2-week-long deal. And in the middle of that, my mom called me and, kind of notified me of the situation. So right after that was finished, I had to be there for 5-6 days. I got on the flight as soon as I could, came here, and I was really glad that I did, because it was only like 5-6 days after I got home. He had passed away, and luckily, I got a hold of people like yourself, the Jeffries, and told everyone I know that was close to my father in the karting, throughout karting, and a lot of his old friends, karting or not, came up to see him, and got to see him one last time before he passed. So, and like I said, I mean, the Jeffries was, and yourself and Mike Droge, I mean, I looked at people that came and saw my dad. I mean, I had a really strong relationship with my dad, and obviously with myself, as we, it was more like a family operation in those days,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I mean, I just have some great memories with your dad. It just we could probably do a whole episode just on him and some of his stories. But yeah, I also learned a lot from him as well. Um, some of the things that I learned when working with him at KLS. I mean, one thing he always said: if you don't have cash, you can't buy it. And he just always said that. And I said, well, what about credit? What about this? Nope. If you don't have cash, you can't afford it. And I would argue with him. I was like, well, what if you were to get a loan because it's going to take you to the next level? And then he would go, do you have cash? I go, no, you can't afford it.
Yeah, and it's
and
funny
there
you
were
say
some
that.
very
Like,
certain things that I learned from him that at the time I listened, but I didn't get it. And then now that I'm older, I mean, it's damn if he wasn't right. If you don't have the cash, you can't afford it. I mean, he was dead on right. And it took me going through some financial crisis myself to go back and actually then finally listen to your dad. It's like, well, he was right. I mean, it was just, you would not be in this situation if you would have had cash.
and it's funny you say that. I mean, I consider myself, extremely fortunate for all the opportunities and experiences and, everything that I've been able to do in my life so far. But I mean, the thing that I have to say that I'm most fortunate enough, lucky, or blessed, or however you want to say it, is I had two parents that financially, not saying that they were rich, but they knew how to run their finances. They were extremely smart in the way of how they operated finances, and like you say, if you don't got cash, you can't. If you don't have cash to buy it, or you don't have enough money to buy it, then you don't buy it. And me coming into my business at the end of 2018, I've been doing exactly that. If I don't have the cash to buy it, I don't need it. I got to do without it. And I've been still doing that with my business to this day, and I'll try to continue to take on all those things that my mom and dad taught me. And and I got to give my mom a lot of credit. I think my mom is the big reason why my dad, I think she taught him many things and made my dad so successful in his business. And I think my dad had the entrepreneur ideas and the I don't care what it takes if I have to work 24/7 every day work ethic. And then my mom behind him basically telling him, like, no, we don't have enough money to do that. Get a couple more jobs, make some more money, then we'll go do that. Because my dad was always like, one of those guys that, oh, I need this, I need that to make better, and let's just buy it. And my mom was kind of the guy roping him in and keeping him under wraps. And, with them two together as a team, they became really strong and strong in business. They were able to retire, kind of early, in age terms. And my mom and dad, ingrained that into me at a young age. And I think it's really beneficial to me to have that role model going into the business that I am right now, because it's one thing to know the business side of things, the technical side of things. I mean, it comes to me extremely easy because I've been around it for 25 years, and I've been extremely lucky to work with the people that I've been able to work with. But, that's one thing, side of business, and the other side of business is the dollars and cents and the numbers, and, which I don't have any experience on, and to be able to rely on my mom to, rope me in and kind of guide me. I mean, I'm extremely fortunate for that.
Yeah, no, and that's, I don't know. This is going to be a little bit of a loaded question. Maybe you can or can't answer it, but I don't want you to go too deep into your answer because it's going to be a Trackmagic thing, and we're going to give Trackmagic, we're going to give that its own episode, because I know there's some great stories with Trackmagic, and I know you have some just foundational life experiences from that. But, and you don't have to answer this or not, but I've always assumed that you came from a family where the resource was there where you did not have to live in the Trackmagic factory.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's no getting around. Like, if you're racing nationally and you're not fully funded by someone, and who's going to fully fund a 12, 13-year-old kid? I mean, my parents had the means to race me. I mean, a karting, we all know, is not cheap. So, but that doesn't mean, I was racing against other kids that didn't have the same opportunity that I did. I mean, we're all racing. It all costs the same for everybody else, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more.
Yeah.
The cost is always there. But I think my parents luckily for myself, did a very good job of making me work for it also. I mean,
and that's where I was going with that. Yes.
Yeah.
Because you lived in a Trackmagic factory. And for people that don't know, flat out, it's in the ghetto. I mean, Trackmagic was in the ghetto. I mean, it's just, it was not a place where a skinny white kid wants to go live. But I think that's just a great testament to, one, your dedication to the sport of karting and to where you saw yourself wanting to go. And then also a great life lesson laid down where it's like, okay, kid, do you want it? Show us. Go earn it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, it was one of those things. I guess I never, like when I used to go work at KLS or EMIC during the summers, obviously I was not getting paid. I don't know how much of a help I was, so to speak, especially when I was younger. Mm-hmm. But, I wanted to be there and kind of give my contribution because I knew, and I guess I was, it was easy for me to understand that my dad was doing everything he could to keep me racing, and I'm sure, KLS wasn't paying him. It was more he was maybe working off the bills that he would, through the carts that we would get or parts or whatever it may be. And I just wanted to be a part of it too because, one, I liked being around the guys, learning from the guys and working on the go-karts. And I don't know, it was always just a passion. Like, I thought it was so cool to be a mechanic too. Something like I wanted to always be a driver, but it was cool to be a mechanic and be one of the guys, I guess, and know how to change axles or build carts. And I guess I always had like a sense of pride when I would help Mike Droge, build with, 2-3 carts in a day, and I look back and I did something, I accomplished something. This is cool. And I still actually have that feeling today when I build, new carts here at my shop and everything. It's when I get done, I look at it, I'm like, yeah, that's, I built that. It's going to go on track, and it's kind of essential accomplishment. I still have that same feeling, but I mean, yeah, my parents supported me all the way up until, I got to Trackmagic, and then, and my dad, I became a teenager, and, when I was a teenager, I thought I knew everything, and I really didn't know anything at all. And my dad got fed up.
Isn't that the definition of a teenager?
Definition of a teenager. I know everything. You don't know nothing, Dad. And, here I am, 34 years old, and realized I didn't know anything. My dad knew everything. But yeah, and, from the Trackmagic on, I was on my own. My dad let me go, and that's when I kind of started making a career path, I guess, as a professional driver, because I was getting paid to drive, and we'll get into that story later. But yeah, I mean, to touch back to when I was younger, and yeah, I mean, I worked, I was always a kid that was interested in how things worked. I thought it was cool. Like, I thought mechanics were cooler, and watching the guys work on the cars, I thought that was a cool thing. I guess I was not the driver that just wanted to drive, and that was it. I wanted to know why things, were changed and what the changes made. And I remember always going to Dixon, with my dad or Scott Jeffries or whoever was, the guys at the time, and testing things, and just kind of wanted to know why. And it always intrigued me. I just remember, like, something like when a new hub would come out, I was like, whoa, that's so cool. Or new wheels, or let's try that. Like, it wasn't it wasn't anything like, I just hope I go faster. It was kind of like, what, we